Hello! Benvenuti ragazzi a un nuovo episodio di Italiani in Australia. Io sono Silvia, sono ovviamente ancora qua a Sydney, strano. Emma non c'è, Emma è ancora in Italia, anzi no, in realtà mi pare che arriva domani, quindi non vedo l'ora di vederlo, sono molto contenta, ci saranno un sacco di aggiornamenti e tante belle cose, ma nonostante tutto, insomma, qua la baracca deve andare avanti, quindi mi è venuta in mente un'idea, visto che un paio di settimane fa ci eravamo fatti una chiacchierata con i miei due amici australiani e avevamo parlato di dating in Australia, ma ovviamente dal punto di vista maschile. A questo punto ho pensato, perché no? E vediamo un po' com'è il dating dal punto di vista femminile. Però ovviamente la mia amica non è italiana, è una mia amica australiana, quindi automaticamente bisognerà iniziare a parlare in inglese. Hello Liz, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, Sylvia. How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually starting to get a bit, I don't know if it's scared or excited about this episode. I don't really know what to expect, but thank you for being here with me tonight.
That's okay, it's my pleasure.
Do you want to tell our listeners how we met? Because it's actually quite curious to understand all the dynamics behind.
Yes, well, we actually met at the gym at a boxing session.
Yeah,
that was our first interaction. It was Sylvia's birthday, and our gym instructor was embarrassing her in front of the whole class, letting them know that it was her birthday.
Yeah, because I hate actually the spotlight, and he knew, and he did it on purpose, yeah, but I still love the guy, that's fine.
Well, they've developed a nice friendship now.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, and I just turned around and wished her a happy birthday, and that's it. We became friends from then, I think.
Yeah, and it's actually almost a year now.
Wow.
Basically, yeah.
It's gone by really quickly.
I know. What are we gonna do for this birthday? I don't know. It's gonna be hard. But anyway, let's dive into the episode, because I thought Liz could actually be a good person to talk about this, about dating in Australia. What do you think about this massive dating war that's happening here in Sydney at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dating in Sydney is very hard, I'd say. I guess there's a lot of, options out there. There's a lot of,
When you say options, what do you mean in terms of...
I feel like, first of all, let me start by saying I feel like men don't really approach women that much here in Sydney. I feel like, they do, but I mean, it takes them a bit of courage. I feel like, I've been to other countries where, men are not shy and they'll come up to you and say, hey, can I buy you a drink? You look beautiful, just themselves. But in Sydney, I find them a little bit more snobbier.
Snobbier, or they don't have balls?
Probably both.
Yeah. But that's
probably both.
It's sort of like, it would kill the vibe at the very beginning. Like a man that doesn't do sort of...
you know what? It's almost like they play hard to get sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, hard to get. So it's like, well, the woman doesn't want to make the first move, and the guy's a little bit, I don't know if I'm going to go and say hi to her. So you probably end up leaving the night with not talking to each other at all.
Yeah. Would you take the first move if you actually like someone and you think that it could be something?
Yeah, personally, I would.
Or what would you do?
I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Maybe if I was at a bar and saw that someone was attractive, and maybe I'd make a little joke or, a passing comment and see what the reaction would be.
Because the boys, when we had the episode about the same topic but from their perspective, guys, if you hear like a weird noise in the background, that's Ollie, that's our mascot for the night.
Yeah, he's my little sausage dog.
Yeah, so he's very cute, and I feel like he wants to say something as well. The boys actually told me that they have this technique, right, which I want this to be validated by a girl. So they said, you cannot really look too much to a girl because otherwise you would look like a creep. But then you still have to look at the girl just that long enough so she would pick that there is something, and then she would do the same to you, and then you get the confidence to go there.
So that there's a bit of a connection. I get that. Yeah, it's a funny one actually. It's a bit of a fine line between being creepy and showing someone that you're interested in them.
Did you have experience with it?
I guess, like, you know, the guy, if you're not interested in talking to the guy and you kind of make it clear that you're not interested and he keeps going, then that's a turn off for a girl, I'll be honest.
Yeah, of course.
But the guys are right. I think it has to be a mutual kind of little connection that you both have at that moment.
So you agree with what the boy
I
said?
agree,
Because
yes,
I actually
agree.
did find it a very interesting theory. But then if we go like more on a general term, where are you gonna meet people here in Sydney? Because everyone says, oh, Sydney is so big, there's so many places, so many things to do. But in reality, where you can go and actually meet potentials, not just for someone that is...
I mean, there's so many new places, especially after COVID, a lot of new little bars have opened up in the city, which is great. And I feel like they actually pull in more of an older, mature crowd too, which kind of, you know, the crowds are better and there's more places to go. Whereas I think prior to COVID, you know, I think the world is aware that Sydney is not the best place for nightlife compared to other major cities.
I feel like it's just different, but I do feel that,
But I think, like I said, there's a lot of new bars that have popped up. And I feel like the social scene is getting much better. So, yeah, I mean, you know, it's always better to meet someone, I think, being out. You kind of can get their vibe straight up, you know. But I do think that apps are still used widely. Like, I think still people use those as a means of meeting people. But personally, that's not my style. I like to see people.
Yeah, I'm the same, but because you touched on online dating, did you have any experience? Which app did you download? Which one did you use?
Yep, so with my recent ex-partner, I actually met him on Hinge. But mind you, that was through COVID days. So I think everybody was on the apps at that time trying to meet people. And as I said, the app was called Hinge. I think it's used in a few different countries.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yes, I did meet him through there. But again, like, that's like a needle in a haystack. You got to be very lucky to meet someone that, you know, you really connect with. And, you know, because there's a lot of weirdos and strange people on there as well. So
that means...
And it costs a lot of your personal time too, right? You know, back and forth messaging, you know, trying to...
Especially at the beginning, because you always have to say the same thing. So you have the conversation that would start in a way and, hey, how you doing? How's your week been? How's your day been?
Yeah, it's very robotic.
Yeah, any plans for the weekend. And then you sort of start to streamline from that. Because you said that you were on Hinge and you met your ex-partner and all of that, but you touched on the fact that there are a lot of weirdos. I think
really
that's because you had some weird experiences on that.
Yeah, look, I've had, you know, people that kind of seem interested and then all of a sudden you get ghosted. You know, someone asks strange questions, you know, like they say one thing and then they do another. So I think a lot of people though that have tried online dating have had those experiences though.
Do you have something funny that you want to tell our listeners?
No, not necessarily funny. I think there was just, you know, a lot of things that didn't follow through.
Do you think that, because to me it happened that sometimes, you know, you were talking to a person and everything was fine while you were talking, like messaging, but then at the time that you were meeting with the person, something was off or you didn't have...
Oh, actually, I do have a story now that I think about it. I was talking to this guy for a while and he was divorced. He had 2 children and, you know, we were getting along really well. We actually went on a date and all of a sudden, I don't know what it was, but he looked at me and said, I can't be with you. You're a party girl. And
you are a party girl?
And I was like, wow, what makes you think this? He's like, oh, you know, you seem like to be always out and about with your friends. And I thought, well, hang on a second. I'm single. First of all, that doesn't make me a party girl. But he straight away labeled me as something that I wasn't without even letting me explain. and said to me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but I wouldn't want a party girl as a potential stepmother to my 2 children." And I was like, "Whoa, hold on. We're only on a first date. Calm down."
So he said that to you at the first date?
It was like the first date.
No, that's
so
too
again,
much.
you know, like that was just didn't even give me a chance, and then labeled me as something that I wasn't. Sorry, the dog's going crazy. And yeah, which I thought was quite weird, really.
I never heard that.
But I think that was his issue, not my issue. And then I guess after that, that's when I met my ex-boyfriend. And with him, it was different. We actually communicated very well. We ended up actually meeting after 3 weeks of chatting online. And we ended up being together for 2.5 years. But unfortunately, that didn't work out anyway. We were just on different paths, but that's okay. But personally, I won't go back on the apps.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for me. I feel like I'm gonna meet my person, or maybe I met the person already, but in real life, because I feel like that's where we would give our best. Like we are not sort of hidden behind the screen or trying to pretend to be someone else. Because from my perspective, so from a girl perspective, I feel like the guys always trying sort of to hide their real traits if they are on apps. And that makes me questioning, like, okay, we are all different, it's fair enough, but then what do you think are the most common trait of an Australian guy, given we are here? So if you are talking to our listeners, they're back home and they're wondering how is dating an Aussie guy? How would you describe the stereotypical Aussie guy here?
Look, if we're being stereotypical, I feel like they're not chivalrous. Which means that, you know, the typical gentleman that will politely ask a lady for a date and, you know, pay for the bill and open the car door. You know, I think those days are gone, and it's very difficult to find a man like that here. Again, look, that's just generalizing and being stereotypical. You know, also, I guess it depends on their background and their nationality. Australia is very diverse, and there's a lot of different nationalities here, and you know, I guess it depends on where you come from and how you were raised. But I think from personal experience, I actually, this is a long time ago, this is over 10 years ago, but I do remember going on a date with an Australian guy, and he took me to a restaurant, and at the end of our date, he asked to split the bill, which was fine. Still,
you don't split at the first date. I'm sorry.
Fine, as in I won't see you again, because I think you've just showed me who you are. I think it's still important for the man to, you know, like pay for the first date. But to make matters worse, he actually, on top of that, forgot to bring his wallet.
I don't think he did.
So I ended up paying for the whole meal. I mean, fair, it wasn't a big, expensive dinner, but still.
Did you see the guy again?
Never. Oh my goodness.
Yes, this is a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
Like, I would never give a chance to a guy that would take me out on the first date. Let's say I met him online.
Yeah.
And I have to pay even a coffee. It would bother me. Like, even
totally.
that's just like, I'm not expecting that from a friend to pay for me or whatever. But if that's the case, to go out with someone, no, you pay the first one and the second one. The third one, I can start offering.
I know. I'm old-fashioned like that too. I think it's manly. I don't know. I think it's lovely. Like if you're trying to, you know, that's what chivalry is. You still want to impress the lady and open the car door for her, and, you know, wait till she gets in the car, or, you know,
no one opens cars door here. I think no one ever did it for me. I don't.
But again, you know, it just depends on your background as well. I think your typical Australian probably wouldn't do that, but again, there's a lot of different nationalities. You've got Greeks, Lebanese, of course you've got Italians here.
The best Italians, I'm saying, obviously.
And I think it depends on how you were raised, really.
Yeah, of course. But if sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I was just going to say again, that's just generalizing. I'm not saying that all Australian men are, but this is just from my personal experience.
Yeah, we all like someone that is kind and open the car door and like little things, I'd say, because that's what we value at the end of the day. Like, if you have to like portray your perfect man, no, actually not the perfect man, because that one doesn't exist, but what would you look into a potential guy that you met? What are the values that you are look into? Because I don't know if it's because we are older out, but I feel like we reach that age that the look is important, but up to a point. I mean, at least for me. So even if I meet someone and I'm going out with someone, obviously I have some other parameters that I would compare against. What are you looking usually into a guy? Something that you'd be like, okay, that's a negotiable, yes. It's sort of a checklist, but not really a checklist, because I wouldn't say stuff like, or has to have an office job, or needs to earn that kind of money. But
no, I mean, look, I think someone that definitely, I guess because of my age, I want someone that's got their life together, at least a little bit, that does have, a stable job and, is respectful and kind and, understanding and, that's someone you can have fun with, to be honest. That's what I personally look for. Yeah. Someone that gets along with my friends and my family. That's very important.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, because reconnecting to what you said, if I have to say it for me, I would look for all these things. I would look for someone kind, someone that I can talk to, someone that I can stay on the couch and have a slice of pizza, and I don't care. He doesn't care if I'm in PJs, or I don't need to be perfect every time. I'd say I'm looking for someone that I feel like that I'm at peace when I'm with the person. Yeah, like that state of mind in which you are relaxed and you can be yourself, and you're not scared about, oh, I have to pretend to be that person. I need to put makeup on. I need to wear that.
Are they going to judge you?
Yeah, exactly. And
totally.
I'm looking for someone that I have that best friend relationship in which we are together, but we are friends as well, in which you can build the connection even stronger. And sometimes I'm like, is that so hard? Is it that hard to find here in Sydney someone that sort of...
Yeah, look, personally, my opinion is that you only get to that state with experience, right? I think someone younger maybe not have those kind of values as yet, because they're still learning on how to be and want to impress, and but that's how you learn, and at the end of it you realize what you really do value. And I guess going through a few relationships, myself being previously married and then another failed relationship, you change your values of what you want from somebody. It's not all about being materialistic and having this and having that and the best house and cars and whatever. Yes, those things are great and they help, but ultimately you want to be happy. Because you can have all that and definitely not be happy and absolutely miserable in your big, beautiful house with your beautiful cars.
And nothing else.
And then nothing else. And then really you're empty inside. And what value does that really bring into your life, right? So, yeah, look, I think that you can definitely meet that person here. But I think it might be someone that's probably a bit older, it's been through a few things and, has experience in life and relationships.
You could go, I feel like, even younger, but I feel like the person needs really to step up and needs really to be at that point, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna take this leap of faith and go down that path, which is different from what I've been always.
Yeah, they have to know themselves.
Yeah, and I feel like for a guy it's actually quite hard because they tend to mature a bit later than girls.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry guys if you're listening.
No, yeah, sorry, but that's the reality. That's the reality of fact, and we just want to tell you the truth on how we feel. So if you are a girl don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah.
We think the same.
Yeah.
If you are a guy, take notes,
Yeah.
because this is gonna help you in
Yeah.
your next relationship. So one thing that I wanted to tell you, because we actually didn't speak about this before today or in the past. I was doing a session with an hypnotherapist, which is Marisa Pierce, in one of my courses that I'm doing online about growth mindset. She's great, and she talks about being abundant and having an abundant mindset. Maybe I did mention this to you in the past, but one thing that she said in one of the previous sessions, which I did, I think was last week or something, she said that there are 3 things for a good relationship to last, basically. So she said the first thing is best friend chemistry. So she said everything that you said. So something, the other person has to be someone that you treat as a best friend, but then obviously your relationship goes beyond that. So it's someone that you can have a laugh and you have banter, you have this back and forth, and it's great, and then builds up a great sexual chemistry, which is obvious because you are the person. And the third point is respect. So she said to use these 3 points to evaluate if you are in a relationship, to evaluate your relationship against these 3 points, to see if it actually has the potential to last or not, which is quite interesting because I use this framework against my relationship that they didn't work, and to be honest, few of these were missing. It was different. Not all the relationship had, for example, I don't know, best friend chemistry or respect or sexual chemistry. It was different, but it was a clear indicator that that person was not the one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And if I look back at my relationships that have failed, I would say that there is at least one of those that is missing, that obviously has ended the relationship. So I guess in my previous relationship that I just ended, one of the things that, you know, was lacking is, unfortunately, was respect. If you don't have respect, then that will cause issues in your, you know, in your chemistry in the bedroom, and, you know, ultimately, would you want to be friends with that person? So, you know, it affects your whole relationship.
Of course.
And then I guess in my marriage, you know, I was with my ex for 10 years, my ex-husband, and towards the end, you know, we ended up being best friends, but then there was no intimacy. So then that thing was missing. So yeah, I mean, she's right. I think you got to definitely have all 3, and seems like all 3 is a bit hard to find. You know, there's always probably one that's going to be a bit of a struggle, but I do ultimately think that the respect part is probably the most important, because once you lose respect, then it affects everything.
Do you think that respect would go hand in hand with being vulnerable? Because it's something that it just came to my mind now that you were explaining about your previous relationship, and I just feel like sometimes guys, it's hard for them to be vulnerable, and if they're I don't know, I sort of feel like that this topic intertwined with the man being vulnerable, you mean? Yeah, intertwined with the respect piece. Yeah, that's sort of like...
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of, I think, if you're vulnerable or not, and being vulnerable is a great thing, because I think that's what brings 2 people closer together. I'm not quite understanding, like, with the respect part. I mean, for the man to lose respect towards his partner, I mean, there's something wrong there. I don't know, like... Yeah,
exactly. It's because he's
defensive or about
defensive and so
right.
straight on his ideas, on what he thinks is true, and he just loses respect on
but I think there's a way of communicating that, you know, it comes down to communication. You know, I guess if you're having an argument or disagreement, I mean, there's ways to communicate that, but as soon as you kind of pass that disrespect, whether it's name calling and arguing, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah,
there really isn't, and it does affect your relationship.
Yeah, so that's why we grow up and we have experiences, and we decide what we want in our next relationship.
Definitely.
Do you have any tips or anything that you wanna say to our listeners that are still back home? And because I actually had one girl that sent me an email a while back, and she was like, it would be interesting if you talk about dating in Australia. So now this episode is for you, and there is also the one from the guy's perspective. So let's just portray her and say, okay, I'm gonna give you just a list of few things that you would consider if you want to come here and you're ready to date someone. What would you tell?
Well, I think just, although it can be difficult, I still think that you should still go out there, and I still think try to be confident, give it a go. At the end of the day, you've got nothing to lose. If someone is not interested, you're going to know straight away, and don't give up, because I feel like there is someone out there that, may be your potential, and you got to remember there's probably that other person out there that's in the same position as you, that maybe is much shyer to approach somebody. So I think just make the move. Why not?
Yeah. One thing that I want to add, but that applies to me, is just don't lose your integrity and what you believe, what you think it's valuable for you. Because in the past I was sort of like, I felt that I've lost my identity or my values because I was just so scared to be alone, and I wanted to be with someone. So I was sort of compromising on things that they didn't really resonate on the person that I am. Yeah. And really, if you're listening and you know what you want, just don't accept whatever comes to you just for the sake that you don't want to be alone. Because I think it's important, for me, having someone that is honest, reliable, someone that I can talk to. For me, it's absolutely important. I was someone that listened to me, and I didn't have that in my previous relationship, but I was just telling myself like a fairy tale that it doesn't matter, but it does. And you don't want this. And I know that living in Sydney, it can be hard for us because we don't have a family here, and sometimes we just need that someone that you just spend time together.
You're almost willing to settle. And I agree with you, and that I was probably in the same position as well with my recent ex-boyfriend. I was almost ready just to settle for the relationship I was in, which was not a good relationship, because I was scared that I might not meet somebody else, or I don't want to be alone. But it's not worth settling for that. And I think that you will always meet someone. Somebody will always meet someone.
Yeah,
you just have to put yourself out there and give it a go, and just don't give up.
Yeah, and still trust in yourself, and always believe in what you are.
Believe in your gut feeling. If it's not right, it's not right.
Oh my God, yes, gut feeling. We didn't talk about it. I mean, we are almost at the end of the episode, but I just want to say, and thanks Liz, that she actually pointed out, if you're going out with someone and at the first date you have that vibe that I don't know, there's something off, but I cannot tell. There is something about this guy. Trust me, there is, because it happened to me with my ex. I went out with him the first time. It was a great day. He actually took me to the mini golf place. What's Holy Moly. And we had a great night. But when we were having a drink after we played and everything, I was looking at him and I was thinking, something wrong about this guy, I cannot tell, but he did all the right things at that time. Like, he was calling me and taking me out and all of that. We were together for 6 or 7 months, but at the end of the day, he was a drug addict, an alcoholic. Like, it was really bad. And to be honest, my gut feeling that I had at the beginning, it was right. I didn't want to listen, but then he had big issues, and at the end we broke up. He was saying, he sort of flipped it on me, saying how wrong I was for him. Like,
he was gaslighting you. That is the definition of gaslighting.
Which I think Aussie guys, actually, they're quite good with gaslighting.
They really are. They're professional gaslighters.
And ghosters as well.
And ghosters, yes.
Did it happen to you to be ghosted? Yes, you said yes.
Yes, I have been ghosted before. I was dating someone after I got divorced. It was only a few dates, but I was meant to meet up with them, and I never heard back. And that was it. Nothing. Tried messaging a few times, no response. I need to say sorry, I don't want to see you again.
How did you take the ghosting piece? Because I want to share my experience as well after.
Well, it's never happened to me before, so I was hurt. It was really rude and thought it was very disrespectful. I mean, at least just say, hey, listen, I'm not interested. Have a good life. You know?
They don't want to have the conversation because I feel like they're scared.
Yeah.
In my case, I was dating this guy that lives in he was living in Melli. He's a cop, and he's half Italian, so maybe he's listening. I don't know. Who knows? I really hit it with the guy because I really liked him when I met him the first time, and we had a walk in Centennial Park and all of that. We actually did 24,000 steps that night.
Wow.
Which was the law. We had a takeaway by the water. It was actually great, but then I met him again and all of that. But then he had a weird way of ghosting. Like he was messaging you and then disappear for 24, 48 hours and then re-messaging you, asking you out. And then when you were trying to make plans, for example, he was saying, oh, we should go out again. And then maybe I was saying, okay, I can do this day or that day. He was disappearing for a week and then coming back saying, I'm sorry, work was very hard, because as a detective, he was doing weird shifts, which I know, but I'm like, everyone has time to
Everybody has time to send a message.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
So he went on, and then obviously he ghosted me for a long time, and then he came back 6 months after, sending me again an online dating app screenshot saying, you're not gonna believe this, you are the first person that you came out here, I'm still thinking what you told me about your house and blah blah blah, we should go out again. And then he did it again. So anyway, this thing went on for a year, and I'm like, the first time he did it, I was actually devastated because I thought that I was the problem, and that was the mistake that I did. And I think if you've been ghosted in the past, it's really important that you don't hold on that feeling because it has really nothing to do with you. It's more like the guy doesn't have the balls literally to say, hey, I'm just not into you that much. Because
I think it's a coward move. Very coward. Like, grow some balls, message the lady and just say that you're not interested. That's it.
Yeah, because I think at the that's true. It seems easy for us. Like, I did it. If I don't like someone, they ask me out. It happened in the past, and I said, hey, I was saying, I just feel like we just want different things, which is, I think, a standard sentence to close it, but at least I'm saying something. You cannot really just leave the person hanging in there. But what I wanted to say, ghosting, yes, I got it. Reconnecting to a movie that I watched yesterday, which was The Ugly Truth. The guy, Gerard Butler, was actually saying, and this is fucking true, that men are simple. So, what does a man want?
What does a man want?
Yeah.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you because I'm telling you what Gerard Butler said in the movie.
If I knew the answer to that question. What does Gerard Butler say?
Gerard Butler is just quite hot and we all like. He said that guys are simple. So, point number one, a guy doesn't want an obsessive girl, like someone that is OCD, someone that is a psychopath. They just want peace. So they just want someone that doesn't break their balls. So if any of you's got OCD or anything, start dating someone, put that side in the wardrobe, try to work on that, just try to be better. That's the first thing. Second thing, he actually said guys are very visual. So in saying visual, they have that sexual component always on the back. And that means the way that you move, the way that you dress. It doesn't mean that you have to be dressed up as a whore, but
they always look at you like in a sexual way. Is that what you
saying? Like as a piece of meat. So he was
great.
He was saying to Catherine Haig, which is the main character, the girl, because she was very conservative, like with short haircut and everything. He was saying, hey, you actually have a good body, but like no one looks at that.
Yeah, you dress like a grandma.
You dress like a grandma. So yeah, it was just trying to say that they're very visual and they get attracted more, obviously, because at the end of the day, they just wanna hit it. And then the last point was, yes, he was suggesting the girl that if he dates a guy, that the girl has to laugh the whole time. Even he says something
Even
shitty.
when he's not funny?
Even when it's not funny, but when the guy maybe makes a joke that is not funny, you just have to laugh. Because the guy loves that sort of validation.
Right. I think that might destroy his confidence if his jokes are not funny.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you have to laugh.
Okay. If any guys are listening out there, let us know if that's true. Send an email.
It is true. I feel like it's true.
I don't know. It's a movie though. Is that true?
I think
Is it because
so.
Gerard Butler said so?
Yeah, well, Gerard Butler got it quite a bit.
I think I forget to laugh. He's just really handsome. I just stare at him.
It is. But you know what? Because he's that handsome that is not the super hot guy.
Yeah, he's kind of like a scruffy handsome.
Scruffy.
Yeah.
Describe scruffy for our listeners because that's
Oh, like a Brad Pitt. Like, he looks a bit messy, but he's hot. You know?
Yeah, you don't want that polish.
Yeah. Not like George Clooney polish, like Brad Pitt, messy, scruffy. Looks like he just got out of bed. But he's still hot. That's all right.
I was actually thinking him that he just finished his work in the fields, like as an agriculture person, like, I don't know.
Farming,
yes. Yeah. Oh, God.
I mean, Brad Pitt would look good in anything, especially farmer's clothes.
But don't you think that Brad Pitt is actually quite polished?
Look, you know what? He can be polished and he can look scruffy. But like a clean scruffy.
No, George Clooney is way too clean.
Yeah, George Clooney is too polished. And he's hot too, though.
I feel like he's overrated, though.
Yeah, honey, I know. But everyone else is so young now. Well,
I was actually thinking someone, but I don't know. No one can.
I mean, I have a lot of girls at work that talk about how hot Justin Bieber is, but I just look at him like a child.
Like 25. How old is the guy? How old is the guy?
Yeah, is he like 25, I think? I don't know.
Yeah. I was actually saying someone, but it's better I don't because never know where this podcast is gonna go. So, but I think
the listeners have now figured out that we're older than 25.
Yeah, I don't think I've said my age, but we are in the golden 30s. So
the golden 30s.
The golden 30s, and I'm not saying more than that.
We'll leave it at that.
We leave it there. I think we are almost at the end of the episode. Liz, do you want to say anything else to our listeners?
I think that's about it. I think if you're planning on coming to Australia, do it. Have the experience. You never know. You might meet your Prince Charming here.
And if you're here already?
And if you're here, well, I don't really need to explain to you the the dating life, do I? You probably already know how bad it is.
I know. Probably they just wanted to see that they're not alone.
You're not alone. I think everybody that lives in Sydney has had the same experiences and can relate to everything that we've spoken about today.
I feel like this episode was more on, I'm gonna fucking kill you guys. I hate you. You're such a piece of shit.
No, we're not hating on the men. Look, this just generalization, but I know that there is a lot of fantastic, great guys out there as well. And you know what? I'm sure they're probably having the same experiences with females, with girls. I feel, it works both ways. So don't feel like we're hating on you because I get it.
I feel like some actually guys can be even more shy than girls or having more insecurities or lack of confidence and all of that. Yeah. It's just because they have to be and play the part of the ones that they're stronger, so that maybe but yeah, having said that, because Liz mentioned to send us an email, so yes, I'm actually saying please do, and send us an email to italiani.thepodcast@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to share your experience, what you guys went through, if you actually found the Prince charming, because...
Yes, please tell us. We'd love to maybe talk about it another time.
Yeah, we just want to know everything. The color of the horse, the color of his dress, details, did he come with flowers, not flowers, and all that pizzazz.
Yeah.
And I think we are at the end of the episode. Thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Did you have fun?
I had
Did you
so
enjoy?
much fun. Yes.
We didn't insult anyone, so I think everyone's safe.
Exactly.
Having said that, guys, I wish you all the best. wherever you are, in Italy or in Australia, at whatever time of the day. I think Italy time now it should be probably about breakfast, lunchtime, maybe, I don't know. But yes, wherever you are, you have the best, and we're gonna see you next time. You have a good day. Bye.
Bye.